just scored a touchdown, like the one on the screen, I'm always like texting him, hey man, you see that touchdown? And he's like, yeah, the Lions are going to lose later. But this sense of community is what keeps people engaged. But it's the other sense sports give that I really want to talk about. It's the sense of admiration. You see, the people you're watching on that screen are the best of the best. That 0.001%. They spent hours, days, years, decades refining their craft just to be on the biggest stage and doing what they love. This inspires so many kids like me who look at them and think, if they can do it, why can't I? Why can't I be the one up on that stage someday? And this influence is seen so many places. So, the title of my TED Talk is, How do our idols influence us? The reason I picked the word idols is because it's vague. It's not how do sports players generate. How do sports players influence us? A sports player can influence you in the same way a singer or a politician or a scientist can. It could be somebody like the president who's trying to influence you, or it could just be somebody like an older sibling or a parent. The other word in this is the word influence. The word influence means, and I got this straight from Google, me being the high schooler I am, is the capacity to have an effect on the character, the behavior, and the personality of someone. So basically, how do the people we look up to make us better people? And how can we use that in a positive manner? So what I've done is I've prepared 3 steps for you guys. 3 simple steps that I hope you can use in your life to make you a better person. So follow along, you can talk to your neighbor or just keep it silent, but I hope you really pay attention to this. So step 1, pick somebody you idolize. Again, this could be anybody. It could be somebody that you see every day, like a teacher or a parent. It can be a celebrity. I'm not choosing. It's up to you. Step 2, identify one positive trait about that person. You see, it could be as vague or specific as you want. Maybe you pick an adjective like optimism, resiliency, determination. I like to pick something more specific because that really helps me with step 3. Try to apply that trait to your life. So, what I've done is I've prepared 2 different idols for you. And I hope this can set an example of how you can use this in your own life, because this process really helped me grow as a human being. So idol number 1. One of my idols is a man named Malcolm Gladwell. He's an author and he writes books on psychology. You might have heard of him. He has some pretty popular books. But the positive trait that I really like about him is his storytelling technique. The way he could turn a boring story, a fact about human that you could probably watch on like a TikTok, and turn it into a 20-minute story that really showcases those are my two examples of how this process helped benefit me. But it's time I answer the big question of my TED Talk. How do our idols influence us? And why? So, I'm no scientist, but I have my own hypothesis about why our idols influence us. I want you to think of life thousands of years ago. That when life was really just one big question. Are you going to live to see the next day? Now, how do you survive? Back in the era of saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths. Well, you look at a person at your society who is thriving, who always has shelter, who always has food, who always has the essentials you need. And you think, I just have to copy what they do. And what I think is, after centuries and centuries have gone on, that we take this natural trait and used it to become better in every society on the earth. And that's why the human race keeps adapting and getting better and growing at rates that are even faster and faster. So, I know it's a Friday night, I'm super tired,